Today, fallen law enforcement officers were honored as part of the Tallahassee Police Department's annual memorial ceremony. TPD's honor guard lowered the flags to half staff, and the names of every officer who's died in service with the department read aloud as family members placed a rose on the memorial wreath. We spoke with one man who was there to honor his brother, Officer Clifford Crouch, who died 5 years ago from COVID-19.
It's something that's really honorable that we remember the officers. I've been doing the ceremony for 5 years now. Knowing that we have that support if we need it is really, it's a tremendous thing because, you know, for the first few years, it's really difficult.
Crouch says TPD still checks on him and his family to support them.